that cop, he never, like, in my mind, like...
He never called
for backup. He never, like...
Call for assistance, medical assistance.
Nah, like...
But you know what? At that point, he knows he's on camera, and he's still freaking. He's frozen, and he's still pointing the gun.
Yeah, it was like, to me, it reminded me of, like, Tackleberry from fucking Police Academy.
Police Academy, yeah.
He was fucking like he was a hot wire.
Yeah. And it's, ultimately, to me, one of the craziest things about this that nobody's really talking about is that the trajectory of that bullet, had it not stopped in Philando's body, would have went through and went into the girl.
His daughter.
That's the craziest thing to think of.
Like, the cop could have easily killed him and an innocent girl. I mean, innocent man and an innocent girl.
Right.
And what's crazier now, I don't know if you guys have seen within the last 2 days, they've released the audio of the police radio conversation where that officer actually drove past the car and said, "Oh, I think I see a robbery suspect." They're like, "Well, what makes you think that he's the suspect?" Well, I saw I forget the exact wording, but basically...
He had big lips.
Big nostrils.
Oh.
Yeah, so I did hear that,
yeah. So it was like, wait, so you basically pulled this guy over on suspicion because he had big nostrils?
I told you they don't like that bell pepper nose.
Yeah, that was your correlation? And you stopped him for a broken taillight? I would rather you just tell me what you pulled me over for. Like, tell me, you match the description, we want to check you out.
Right.
Instead,
there's so many things that, like, I think that could have been done. Even when you think of, like, Alton Sterling. Yeah. You know, you think about, like, everyone says this, but it's just crazy to me, like, why wouldn't a cop just shoot somebody in the leg if they had to? Why?
That's always been my question. Like, when you have these incidents, or this is when you're in the heat of the moment, because as people in general, even though we're not police, we've been in the heat of the moment and have to make, crucial decisions about anything.
Right.
Rarely are they life or death, but my thing is, why not shoot the disabled? Shoot him in the leg, shoot him in the arm, anywhere but the torso.
Even mace him.
Right.
No?
Like, but then you also have situations where, like, you see, like, I just saw a video earlier today when I first got up, of an officer who, because you could say, well, what about tasing them? But then I saw a tape today where an officer tased a teenager to the point where they went and had a seizure, then cardiac arrest, and then died. So it's like tasers are not non-lethal. You don't know who you're tasing. Everybody's body reacts differently. Tasers can be lethal in the wrong situation. So ultimately, what it really comes down to is, I feel like, for me personally, officers, that dude, especially the guy who killed Philandro, he had no business being a police officer in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
If you can't handle the pressure that comes along with making life or death decisions, that could be not just somebody else's life or death, but even your life or death. If you can't handle that pressure, there's no need for you to be a police officer.
Yeah.
And, I feel like when they do the screening, I don't know this. I only know I have personally 2 friends who are like family who are police officers, but they're detectives. Mm-hmm. They're not, like, they don't walk beats. They don't drive around in squad cars. I haven't really actually sat and had a conversation with them about their feelings, about what's happening. But overall, I don't know that they don't do psychological profiling on potential, cops when they're in the academy. I would imagine they do. But I feel like whatever kind of profiling they are doing is not enough. Because there's just too many of these situations. And I feel like they should probably be profiled on a regular basis, even after you become a cop. Like, you might need to see the staff shrink by regulation.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks or every month, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like even like old people. When you get to a certain age, I think you need to be retested for driving.
Oh yeah, I think after a certain age, I don't know what the age is, but there was a mandatory thing with driving.
I see people in Jersey, man. They got them fucking HBO glasses on. They just pull right out of the fucking street, and I worry about them. But the one thing I do like that we're seeing is that I feel like more people are being more vocal more than ever. Like
even cops.
Like cops. No, even like last night, like on the ESPYs, they had LeBron and Melo and Chris Paul and Dwayne Wade talk about it, and we've been wanting. Our big sports figures to talk about it because they're very influential.
Well, I think we want our major personalities and figures or celebrities in general, because they hold so much sway
Right.
over public opinion, whether it's warranted or not, they do. And so many of them are scared to say certain things because it can affect your bottom line, which is your dollar sign. You know, you say the wrong thing, speak out about the wrong group, or the wrong situation,
or the wrong nationality that owns that.
Right, it can end up hurting your business.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, entertainment, the entertainment industry it's a business. So, whenever I do finally see somebody who can't take it anymore, and actually speaks on it, like, people think that it's an easy thing for a celebrity to get on Twitter or on Facebook or on video, just make these comments. A lot of us as people, and I'm not putting myself on the same level as LeBron or D-Wade, because I'm not. But just as people who are public figures in general, a lot of times we are taught to not comment on those things.
Right.
We're trained to not comment on those things because it can affect us one way or another.
Right, you can lose endorsements.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of which, Wendy Williams deserves to lose all of
They
them.
trying to petition for her to lose her show.
She should.
And I think...
Well, I'm not going to say she should lose her show, but there has, like...
There needs to be some kind of repercussions for the things that she said.
But my thing is, like, did you think that was just going to fly?
I feel like she's like a puppet at this point where she's just saying...
I don't follow her enough to have an opinion, so I don't
She
know.
just says things to still get a rise out of people, because
Right.
at the end of the day, she always says that she doesn't really care about the celebrities. She's like touching the people. So in order for her to maintain relevancy, she is known for saying these like outlandish things.
But
and,
that was a very irresponsible
it
thing
definitely
to put
was.
out to the people.
It definitely was.
Because I know people who are like, older folks who like, I was watching the Wendy Williams show and blah, 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 blah. Like, they take it seriously.
Right.
So for you to, something that you may put out there flippantly, just without even really thinking, could actually influence or sway somebody's opinion of you or of themselves or of somebody else. Like,
Right.
You never know what somebody's going through. So to put something like that out there, it was super irresponsible. Like I spoke out of turn. I'm not going to say that she should lose her show, but there should be some kind of penalty. I'm not going to say what that penalty is.
Right.
Ultimately, I think the penalty's already there. They've already made an ass of you, and the general consensus, the people have made an ass of you.
Right.
That's kind of punishment right there. Because even though she might act like she doesn't see it, you're looking at Twitter.
She's got to be treated like sports. Like I was saying before, Rich Homie Quan, he's got to get suspended for this. Like he's got to go on like the 60-day suspension list, and Wendy's got to go on that too. Maybe a 90-day suspension.
Suspension from what though? Like they're not going to take her off the air for that.
No, I don't mean.
I think culturally,
yeah.
I hear you. Right? I don't know. Like ultimately, I always say we need a board.
Yeah. A union. Remember we spoke about this the last time.
When you was in the Snoopy boxer.
Oh, no, that wasn't Snoopy. They were
Snoopy.
They were Snoopy.
She thought that at first it was almost translated that you were wearing Snoop Dogg boxes.
Because you were making a song for Snoop Dogg.
Oh, yeah, I was writing a song in my boxers.
Yeah, I just had a moment where it was just a brain fart. Like, I didn't think he had on Snoop Dogg boxers. It was just like...
Well, you would,
but I thought they were polo bear boxers.
I don't know what. Talk to us about them. Were they cotton or silk?
I don't wear silk boxers.
You say you like silk boxers?
I don't wear silk.
Oh,
that's very it's very Big Daddy Kane in '90.
But you got that curl going. I can just see you just walking through with your silk boxers, the matching like
my robe.
Yes, and a big Cuban about to make beats and beat on something lovely.
What the fuck is going on?
Wait, so I'm gonna like have a cigar, make it beat and beat the box, beat the beatbox.
Hello. Hey.
No.
Yo, listen.
Just blazing these bitches.
As we're talking about the, everything that happened last week.
Yes, sir.
Also, something happened to you, where I'll let you explain. But from what I seen, I was on Twitter, and then I seen you put out I'm getting pulled over, and I was like, oh shit. And it's funny because I seen someone on the internet like, oh, we better not lose Just Blaze, and I was like, oh, like and then you threw out the Periscope, and then what happened was we got pulled over. I mean, I'll let you tell it, but you got pulled over, and I remember hearing the cop saying like, is everything legit with the car?
Yeah. So long story short, and it goes back actually to the day before that. I think what was it? First we had the Alton Sterling shooting. If I'm not mistaken.
And the night after.
Right. So the next day, I was getting in the car. I actually had to run out to to a spot that some might consider the hood. It was late at night. It was about midnight. I wasn't going there to hang out. I had something I had to handle. So I had a thought, and this is not the first time that I've had this thought, but sometimes when I'm heading out the house, and it's not necessarily dictated by where I'm going, but sometimes I just have this thought, like, yo, keep your wallet out,
right,
in case you need to access it quickly for whatever reason. Whether you got to go through the parking garage and wave your pass, through the swipe, or if you get pulled over by a cop, you need to show your ID. You don't want to be fishing around in your pockets for your ID. You want to be able to just produce it quickly.
Right.
So
at this point, you got to just tape it to the windshield.
Yeah.
Right. So I had the thought. Richard Pryor actually had a skit about this, and I talked about it in the second Periscope video. His whole thing of what was the skit? Oh, white people deal with police versus black people deal with police, and how a lot of times white folks get pulled over and they're like, "Hello, officer," and it's your local neighborhood cop, and you guys know each other by your first names and whatever. Whereas a lot of times with a black person, he's like, "Officer, I am reaching into my pocket to take out my license because you're asking me for it. I don't want to be in an accident."
Right.
And it's a hilarious routine, but it's rooted in real life, obviously. So that thought crossed my mind, or that routine crossed my mind when I was getting in the car. So I was like, let me just put my wallet right here. So I'm doing that. I go where I gotta go, handle what I gotta handle. No incidents, no problems. But then I got home and read the news about Philandro Castile that night, and I'm like, or later on that night, and I'm like, how crazy is that I just had that thought, and what homie actually got shot for was him going into his pocket looking for it.
Sure, doing what the officer asked him to.
Right. But it was just that same thought of, had he had his wallet easily accessible, or his license easily accessible, he might still be alive. And granted, he shouldn't have to. He's doing what the officer asked him to do. But it was just the irony of that happening. So I tweeted a bunch about it that night. Next day, I'm doing a bunch of construction at the house. So I had to go to the bank to get a cashier's check for one of my contractors. And I went out to the car, and the car happened to be parked under a tree. And some birds just had a field day with the car. Ate a lot of berries that day. I don't know what, but they made a mess of the Batmobile. So
they were bird shitting.
So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go. I rattled it out in my mind. I'm like, all right, that's what I'm doing. I'm not gonna do a full-on car wash. I'll just get this washed, go to the bank, get the check, swoop right back around, and go see my contractor paying. My regular car wash is closed for whatever reason. So I'm like, all right, so I'm going to another one. And long story short, anybody who wants to see the full story, you can go watch the Periscope video. But long story short, when I get to the car wash, I get pulled over. And the first question out of the officer's mouth was, is your car legit? Well, first it was, hi, how are you? I'm good, how are you? I'm fine. Is your car legit? And I'm like, what? Are you asking me if I have like a fake car?
Fugazi?
It's like a kit car. Like, are you asking me if I have a kit car?
Is this a Hot Wheels?
Yeah, like what are you? I'm really not sure what he's asking me at first. And eventually I basically realized that he's asking me if there's like any funny business with my car.
Sure.